The year's 2024. Cat Williams opens the door and it's a brand new year. Everybody's getting exposed. Leaks are coming out. He's giving you the inside scoop of what's really going on in Hollywood. The world is now shaking up. And not too far in the distance, the cancellation of Diddy, where the whole world got this black man's name in their mouth, no Diddy, more than ever, for all the wrong reasons. And before you look out there, not too far behind Diddy, everybody hates Drake. Drake? Why does everybody hate Drake? Boy, what a time to be alive, man. If you made it to 2024, Olympia has fallen. Everybody hates Drake. And we're still only in the beginning of the year. But everybody on Drake neck, bro. This Drake and Kendrick beef is hot right now. But my thing is, where's everybody else come from? We're gonna get right into it.
If you're unaware, there's been a huge beef going on in the rap community as of late, with many of those disses being aimed at Drake. Even recently in Drake's response, he said, "All you people teaming up, what is this, a 20v1?" And he said this because artists like Rick Ross, A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar, Future, Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, and many more have dissed him, which has left many people wondering why everybody hates Drake. So let's look into it, starting off with Future and Metro Boomin.
I thought they were cool.
In light of recent events, Drake's beef with Metro and
Future,
Future is
Drake was
pretty
cool.
well documented, so I'm not going to go super into detail in this section, but it provides the backstory for us to understand why all of these rappers assembled to diss Drake. So Future and Metro Boomin are the two people responsible for the so-called rap civil war, and it seems like Metro Boomin is the main mastermind behind it. But why does Metro Boomin hate Drake? Well, it seems to have started back in December of 2022 when Drake was left off of Metro Boomin's album Heroes and Villains.
I was just in the studio with Drake one time, because we were gonna do some stuff on my album, and he just wanted to hear some songs from my album. Then he heard that one and really wanted to get on it, but like I was letting him know that he was really just done for real, and I was really just set on how it was. I was like, bro, I ain't even trying to sell you no dream. Like, it's really like just locked in. I'm locked in. Where
Imagine telling Drake, I'm not trying to sell you a dream on whether or not I want you on this record or not. One of the hottest artists alive, but okay.
it was, but
Their beef seemed to flare up again after Drake and 21 Savage's album Her Loss kept winning Album of the Year over Metro's album. Metro tweeted, "Yet Her Loss still keeps winning Rap Album of the Year over H&V. Proof that award shows are just politics and not for me. I don't care about awards honestly. The true award and reward is knowing that the music I spend so much time on brings joy to people's everyday lives." Metro quickly deleted it, but there was obviously some tension there. Drake also seemed to respond in a live stream.
And to the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you
The tweet and deleters is hilarious, son.
the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? You guys, that's what I thought.
So we can't be sure if simply leaving Drake off of his album and Drake winning a bunch of awards over him was what started all of it, but it definitely seemed to fuel the flames. And it
Okay.
made Metro mad enough to make 2 whole albums with Future targeted at Drake, full of a bunch of other rappers who hated him. But why did Future, an old pal of Drake, participate in the formation of this civil war? Well, the origin of Future and Drake's beef is unknown, but we do have some ideas. The last time Drake and Future collabed was on Future's album I Never Liked You, but after that there was some speculation they had some problems.
And back to my Future, Metro Boomin, Drake tension. You don't think it's weird that nothing ever happened with that fucking hit smash song that Future and Drake made with Tim's?
What do you mean? Nothing
Wait
happened?
for you.
It was a hit.
When you say
it was a hit.
when you say
I
what?
know it was a hit. It was a smash.
So what you mean? Nothing happened with it.
Never heard it again.
And after that turned out to be the case when Future dissed Drake on his album, it left many people wondering why. Well, a lot of fans speculated for a while that the beef was caused by a girl, but Metro Boomin shut that down by saying, "Stop making stuff up for engagement and enjoy the music." So with that in mind, the next assumption was that Future and Metro are good friends, and that Future simply sided with Metro in his feud with Drake. Metro's producer tag is literally Future saying, "If young Metro don't trust you, I'ma shoot you." And for whatever reason it is, Future and Metro have made it clear that they do not trust Drake. And it's clear that Drake has problems with them too, because on his recently leaked Push-Ups diss, he said, "I could never be nobody #1 fan. Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand," which was a Future diss. And all he had to say to Metro was, "Shut your ass up and make some drums," which was pretty hilarious. So for whatever reason it started, That issue with Drake is why when they made the first album, they had to recruit another rapper who hates Drake, and that of course would be Kendrick Lamar. Again, Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beef is pretty well documented as of late, so I'm not going to go super in depth, but again, it has some important backstory. So Kendrick and Drake started off as friends in the early 2010s, with Drake really helping him out early on by bringing him on tour with A$AP Rocky. They collaborated a few times together as well. But the beef all started when Kendrick and Big Sean released Control, and in Kendrick's verse, he said he was coming at everyone in the rap game, including Drake. Most people weren't offended by this because Kendrick said he had love for them and figured it was just some friendly competition. But Drake took it a different way. Drake said, "I didn't really have anything to say about it. It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Lamar's not murdering me at all in any platform. So when that day presents itself, I guess we can revisit the topic," which is pretty ironic looking back. This, along with Kendrick progressively blowing up and challenging Drake's status, kicked off a decade of subliminals between the two artists that I'm not going to get into. But if we fast forward to the late 2010s when Kendrick was on a hiatus after Damn, we can see Drake directly calling him out multiple times.
You know, the other two guys that I'm constantly, you know, up against, which is like Cole and Kendrick. I'm excited that the decade's about to turn and we're gonna see who can, you know, who can go that extra stretch.
About these guys that go away 4 or 5 years, want to chill out, all that shit. That's not me.
After First Person Shooter, a song where Drake and Cole collabed and said they were the GOATs, Kendrick had to respond. That's when he featured on Like That with Future and Metro Boomin, in which he directly called out Drake. Kendrick said things like, "Mother F the big three, it's just big me. I'm really like that, and your best work is a light pack. Prince outlive Mike Jack. For all your dogs getting buried, that's okay with all these nines, he gonna see Pet Cemetery." As I'm sure most of you know, this diss sent everyone into a frenzy, and there was no way that Drake could not respond to it. So he did on the leaked diss song Push Ups, a song where most of the bars were directed at Kendrick, but he took some shots at everyone else dissing him as well. He said things like, "How you big steppin' with a size 7 men's on? Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for all the Swifties," and a bunch of other lines like that. On this song as well, Drake claimed that Like That is not what started the beef, but it's been brewing for a long time, which is evident in the decade of subliminals they've sent to each other. If you want a more in-depth video on Kendrick and Drake's relationship, I suggest this one by What's the Dirt, which I'll link down below. But Drake's recent response had a few other disses towards other artists in it, including The Weeknd.
This is interesting. Okay.
The Weeknd and Drake have had a fairly public feud that's been on and off for a while now, but after being featured all over Future and Metro's albums and sending some shots at Drake, the flames seem to have been reignited. It all started in 2010 after Drake heard a new young artist called The Weeknd, and they met in 2011. Drake supported his career very early on and was a big fan of him. They worked together a lot, and The Weeknd even wrote 4 of the songs on Drake's album Take Care. As The Weeknd was growing as a solo artist, in 2012 Drake said, "I want to continue being involved in his career and vice versa, and keep making music together. As far as on paper, it's all being worked out. But that's not really what counts anyway. What counts to me is the fact that affiliation is known, and that's all I really care about." It was clear that Drake wanted to sign The Weeknd, and he said it often.
This is forever the first artist that OVO ever had and still has, and OVO XO is alive forever.
Son, how do we go from this moment right here, armed around shoulder, to where we are today? Like, what the this is crazy. Yo, and it goes to show you how, like, this rap industry is filled with so much fake love. Like, whether it's coming from The Weeknd or Drake, it's just like, it's like there's so much going on behind the walls, the doors, like kind of like what I was alluding to in the intro with Cat Williams exposing Hollywood. Like, the rap game is dirtier than Hollywood. Don't get that shit fucked up at all, bro. All you hear is snake shit happening in this industry around people that share drinks, share albums, and share successes together. There's a lot of backstabbing going on. For real, for real. And we've been hearing about this shit, but it's crazy, man.
But that would be turned
Bring
on
it back a
if
little
he
bit.
said it often.
This is forever the first artist that OVO ever had and still has, and OVO XO is alive forever, I promise.
But that would be turned on its head when The Weeknd signed with Republic Records in September of 2012, which clearly upset Drake. He said on Twitter, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." Things went along as normal for a while. And if you're curious, a normal Drake beef looks like some subliminals throughout your songs while maintaining the fact that you're cool in your interviews. Until 2013, when The Weeknd did an interview with Complex. He revealed that the songs he gave to Drake were originally for his album House of Balloons, but The Weeknd made it sound like he didn't really want to or that it wasn't the right decision. He was also asked in reference to Drake, "People think you guys aren't cool with each other anymore," to which he responded, "No, that's not true, but it makes sense. The thing about Drake is I told him what my decisions were going to be, and he was down with it from the beginning." So despite the both of them saying they were cool, there did seem to be a bit of tension surrounding Take Care and The Weeknd not signing to OVO. In 2015, The Weeknd opened up a little bit more about his early relationship with Drake when he said to Rolling Stone, "I gave up almost half of my album. It's hard. I will always be thankful. If it wasn't for the light he shined on me, who knows where I'd be. And everything happens for a reason. You never know what I would say if this success wasn't in front of me now." So even though he wasn't entirely happy about giving some of his songs to Drake, he was still able to appreciate and acknowledge the big boost that Drake gave him. Things were quiet for a while until 2017 when they both appeared on each other's shows, signifying that they were cool despite any previous tension. But then Drake was rumored to be dating The Weeknd's ex-girlfriend Bella Hadid, which definitely could have sparked some issues between the two. After that, Drake posted a throwback photo to Take Care, and someone wrote in the comments that said The Weeknd wrote the entire album, to which Drake responded, "Abel co-wrote on Shot For Me in Practice, obviously was featured on Crew Love and The Ride, and that's it. There's 20 songs on that album. Don't Try Me." Then The Weeknd actually got back with Bella Hadid for a while, which possibly upset Drake as many people speculated on his 2018 album Scorpion that he sent some more subliminals to The Weeknd. Then in 2019, The Weeknd seemingly dissed Drake back on his song Lost in the Fire, saying, "And I just want a baby with the right one, cause I could never be the one to hide one," which is a reference to Pusha T revealing that Drake had a son that he was hiding from the world. The Weeknd also said on Nav's song Price on My Head, "You beefing with yourself, tell the truth. People on your side, they would ride for me too." But again, Drake would maintain that he had nothing but love for The Weeknd.
To this day, I'm always excited, always super happy for all those guys. And I never like had any resentment towards like, "Oh, you didn't stay on OVO." That was never really like, I'm not gonna say there weren't people that didn't feel a way about it, but that was never my thing. I never expected Abel to stay under OVO as soon as I heard him once express that he wanted to do his own thing. So it's like, my biggest regret would maybe be that we probably wasted 7 years not communicating with each other when we had something beautiful going on.
Drake echoed this sentiment on his song War by saying, "OVO XO link up, and they boy that sound like he sang on Thriller, we just had to fix things, family 6 things, we can't split up." After that, things seemed like they might have been cool again, especially when they were hanging out together at The Weeknd's birthday party in 2022. But in 2023, on Drake's album For All the Dogs, it seemed like he may have sent a shot at The Weeknd on the song All the Parties when he said, "My playing P&D in them shorties don't listen to Weeknd." Some people don't think it was a diss, but after recent events, it very well could be. In late March of this year, Future and Metro Boomin released their collab album We Don't Trust You, which, if you're unaware, was essentially an entire diss album towards Drake, with a handful of features having beef with Drake as well. The Weeknd had some vocals on there, but it wasn't until they released We Still Don't Trust You where the disses at Drake came from The Weeknd. The most direct shots were on the song All to Myself when The Weeknd said, "They could never diss my brothers when they got leaks in the operation. I thank God that I never signed my life away. And we never do the big talk. They shooters making TikToks got us laughing in the Lambo." This line references a few things, like OVO affiliates spilling the beans to Pusha T about Drake's son, and how The Weeknd is glad he never signed to OVO. And Drake, of course, was not a fan of this team-up, so he sent some shots back on his diss song that was recently leaked called Push-Ups. Drake said, "Your manager was..."
Mind you, they were just partying with each other in 2022, bro. It's like, it's... okay.
Chubb's little blunt runner, claimed the 6 and you boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got rich, you had to run from it. Cash Flow and Abel Bread out here tricking. Shit we do for is he doing for dudes. Cash XO is The Weeknd's manager, so basically Drake was making fun of both of them in this line. So now that we know the beef with Drake and The Weeknd is back on, we can't say for sure exactly why, but it definitely has something to do with some ex-girlfriend drama or The Weeknd not signing to OVO back in the day. And because he knew The Weeknd hates Drake, Metro Boomin made sure to get him on this album with Future. And another person he made sure to get on this album was A$AP Rocky.
Where the fuck is A$AP Rocky coming from, bro?
Similar to The Weeknd, A$AP Rocky and Drake used to be good pals, but now there is some beef that is in large part because of a girl. Surprise, surprise. Back when A$AP Rocky was starting out, Drake took him on his Club Paradise tour with Kendrick Lamar, and because of this, Rocky said that Drake is the one who put him on.
The only person that put on for me when I ain't have nobody was Drake. I'm talking about Drake was the first person to put on like before anybody. He didn't want to sign me.
Yeah.
He didn't want. It was like, yo, that's raw talent, yo. Like you gotta shine, yo. I'm gonna see to it. I forever owe Drake.
They collabed together, most notably on songs like Effin' Problems, and were good buddies for a while. But as many of you probably know, Drake really liked Rihanna. They apparently dated briefly in 2009.
That makes sense.
And again in
I forgot about that whole
2014,
dynamic.
both of which Rihanna denied. But it seemed like Drake was obsessed with her. Like when he gave a speech about her at the VMAs saying, "But most of all, we love the woman who hasn't changed since day one. She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old. She's one of my best friends in the world. All my adult life, I've looked up to her even though she's younger than me. She's a living, breathing legend in our industry." Apparently, they even kissed on stage around this time. But there was a bit of a love triangle going on. A$AP Rocky and Rihanna met around 2011 and first collabed in 2012. He also toured with her in 2013. But then Rihanna and Rocky were seen hanging out a bit more in 2018 and 2019. And by 2020, there were rumors that they were dating after Rihanna had broken up with her previous boyfriend. Fast forward to 2022 and the couple is having a child together. Then another in 2023, and then Rihanna confirmed that their romantic relationship began in 2019. And there were even rumors they were going to get married. But one person seemed to be a tad bit jealous, and that was our good pal Drake. Many fans assumed that Drake's song Fear of Heights from For All the Dogs was about Rihanna, because he said things like, "Why they make it sound like I'm still hung up on you? That could never be me. Girl can't run me. Better him than me. Better it's not me. And the sex was average with you. I'm anti because I had it with you. And I had way better than you. TBH. Yeah, that man, he's still with you. He can't leave you." Basically, the entire first verse was aimed at Rihanna and Rocky, with, in my opinion, some pretty weak disses. Drake also seemingly dissed Rocky on the song Another Late Night when he said, "I ain't pretty Flacco, this shit get really rocky." Oh, and on Virginia Beach, Drake said, "I know what you say I could have treated you better or whatever, but I don't know, I think I did alright. And you know how you get drawing conclusions like you got a Parsons degree or something. I could have treated you better, that's crazy. Nope." In a hilarious interview where a TMZ reporter tried to jog with Rocky and ask some questions, she asked about the Drake diss, but Rocky didn't respond. But then Rocky somewhat responded on Kid Cudi's song Wow, where he said, "These people can't stomach me, gotta go get a Mandrake." However, Rocky finally addressed the situation directly on
Oh,
Future
Mandrake
Metro's
is
second
crazy
diss album.
because of the whole BB, the whole tummy tuck shit. "These people can't stomach me. I better go get a Mandrake" is crazy. Oh, yo, but the first bar that I caught.
On Kid Cudi's song Wow, where he said, "These people can't stomach me, gotta go get a Mandrake." However, Rocky finally addressed the situation directly on Future and Metro's second diss album, We Still Don't Trust You, on the song Show of Hands. He said, "People swear they the baddest. I just begged the worst one. And they feelings over women. What, you hurt or something? I smashed before you birthed, son. Flacco hit it first, son. Still don't trust you. It's always us, never them. Heard you dropped your latest shit. Funny how it just came and went." So it's pretty obvious what Rocky's talking about here. Drake didn't seem to target Rocky on his latest diss track, but he did post this meme targeted at everyone who dissed him. So at least Rocky on his latest diss track, but he did post this meme targeted at everyone who dissed
Never give up. You may be closer than you think.
him. So at least we know why the two of them started beefing. But one person we didn't know was beefing with Drake was Rick Ross, until we just recently learned the reason. Rick Ross is an artist who has seemingly been good friends with Drake for a while now, so many people were surprised to see them beefing. They've collaborated many times, most notably on songs like Money in the Grave and I'm On One. They even hinted at a collab album as recently as 2021. There was a brief conflict between the two back in 2016 when Drake was beefing with Meek Mill, since Meek was signed to Rick Ross's label. Ross said, "If it's gotta go there, Renzel gonna jump off the porch on your ass. That's just the way I've always been and I'm gonna die that way. You just gotta know what you're doing for your dogs." So he clearly was siding with his signee, which makes sense. And when Drake and Meek patched things up, so did Rick Ross and Drake in 2017. The most recent time we've heard Rick Ross speak positively of Drake was in May of 2023 when he said on Drink Champs that him and Drake are very close. Even in January of this year, Rick Ross said to Aiden Ross on a live stream that his favorite Drake collaboration was Stay Schemin' and that it was a magical experience making it. In March of this year, Rick Ross and his girlfriend Christina Mackey announced that they had broken up back in February. But then, for some reason, Rick Ross unfollowed Drake on Instagram after Like That by Future, Metro, and Kendrick was released. released. Everyone was focused on the Kendrick verse and may not have realized that Rick Ross was featured on the album as well. An album that, mind you, was full of Drake disses. It was basically targeted at Drake, if you haven't picked up on that already. Ross's verse didn't have anything to do with Drake, but it may have been that tiny bit of allegiance that upset Drizzy, because shortly after that, Drake invited Rick Ross's ex-girlfriend Christina Mackey to his concert, and it was a fancy invite that she posted, which probably had Mr. Ross feeling some type of way. This is when people thought there was beef, and then it was confirmed not too long after. When Drake's song Push Ups leaked, he had some bars for Rick Ross. He said, "I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky. Can't believe he jumping in, he turning 50. Every song that made it on the chart he got from Drizzy. Spend that little check you got and stay about my business." So he briefly addressed Rick Ross, saying he took his girl, referenced Rick Ross's past as a correctional officer, and then said that every song on the charts that Rick has got has been from him. He didn't spend too much time on Rick Ross, as there were many other people that he had to send shots at, but it was enough for Rick Ross to immediately get in the studio and respond to Drake in a full-length diss track. He said, "Ghostwriters, they get to floss what you could have had. Record label taking a loss, are you in your bag? You a worker wanting to chart, don't make me laugh." Here he directly addressed Drake's claims and said that because Drake outsources things like ghostwriters and has to pay for them, that the record label is probably taking a loss on his music. Ross continued later on saying, "Like his moves, but he never had to fight in school. Always ran, another person had to write your grooves. Flow is copy and paste, Weezy gave you the juice. Another white boy at the park wanna hang with the crew." In this line, he calls Drake soft again, saying he doesn't live the lifestyle he claims to have lived. And Ross also said that Drake just got his flow from Lil Wayne. On the hook, Ross called out Drake for leaking his diss track instead of speaking directly. But one of the most interesting things to happen on this track was in the outro when he—
I love that line right there that wasn't highlighted. Hold on. He goes, hold on.
From Lil Wayne. On the hook, Ross called out Drake
"If we keeping it gangster, when you see me, you check me."
for leaking his diss track instead of speaking directly. But one of the most interesting things to happen on this track was in the outro when he accused Drake of wanting to be white, so he had a nose surgery to make his nose smaller than his dad's nose. The nose accusation actually had Drake's mom texting him asking, "The internet is saying you got a nose job?" To which he responded, "It's coming from Rick Ross, the guy I did songs with. He's gone loopy off the Mounjaro. He hasn't eaten in days and it's turned him angry and racist. He's performing at proms for money. It's bad. Don't worry, we'll handle it." And he also tagged Rick Ross saying, "You're one nosy goof." Then Rick Ross claimed that he unfollowed Drake because Drake sent a cease and desist to French Montana, which finally explained why the beef started in the first place. A lot of people were speculating that the song Splash Brothers from Mac and Cheese 5 by French Montana was supposed to have Drake on it because of a leak. There is a version of the song out right now with Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, but not one with Drake. So many people think that Drake sent a cease and desist so he wouldn't release it. Of course, we don't know the exact details. French Montana hasn't commented on the situation, but since Rick Ross said it and it doesn't really seem like something to lie about, it's likely that this is the reason why Rick Ross is beefing with Drake. Also, they've been arguing back and forth on Instagram talking about who's got the bigger mansion and stuff like that. Crazy rich people arguments I couldn't imagine relating to, but it's not super relevant to the beef. But all it tells us is that Drake doesn't take Rick Ross seriously enough to address him anymore in his songs. However, there are a few more artists that fans speculate have some beef with Drake right now.
So, and we're like 20 minutes in and he's barely even mentioned Kendrick. It's damn.
Like everyone else on this list, Kanye and Drake were friends early in Drake's career. There was a little bit of tension here and there, especially after a Kanye rant from 2016 when he said the radio plays too much Drake, but for the most part, everything seemed good. Until in 2018 when Pusha T's beef was heating up with Drake and Kanye had just produced Pusha T's album Daytona, that's when there seemed to be some issues. Drake thought Kanye, who had released multiple albums that year that he had produced, had them all come out to mess up the release of Drake's album Scorpion. Kanye apologized for this, but then released the infamous song Lift Yourself. This song is funny because Drake said he liked the beat, so Kanye wasted it by saying things like poop diddy scoop on the song and releasing it. Then Kanye got mad at Drake for allegedly sneak dissing him on Sicko Mode and apparently threatening his family. There's some more petty stuff in 2021 and then even more in 2023 when Drake sampled Kim Kardashian, Kanye's ex-wife, on his song Search and Rescue. There have been a lot of rumors that Kim and Drake have been dating, but there isn't any confirmation. People also saw videos of Kim K at some Drake shows and have theorized some of his lyrics have been about her, which also could have upset Kanye. Over the years, Drake has sent many subliminals, and Kanye has gone on plenty of rants about Drake. So basically, their beef is over a bunch of pretty petty stuff, which isn't very surprising considering both of their personalities.
Oh,
and
shit.
I wasn't going to include Kanye in this video until he recently inserted himself in the—
We good? All right, we good.
the Drake dissing tag team by remixing the song that started it all, Like That.
That's what it is. But I did do this Like That remix though. I think that's what you was wanting to lead into and shit. Let me see.
You got the Like That remix. I don't believe Gay jumped on the Like That remix.
You know we had to get the hooligans up here. We gonna take this pussy nigga out. Yo, Dot, I got you.
And as I'm tired of this nigga fucking with me and all this shit, man. So the fact that these niggas is coming together finally, because it's not just about the elimination of Drake, you know, it's like we're gonna tear the head off whoever they got that they thought was in control of all this.
Kanye said on his remix, "It's a rap for people. Where's Lucian? Serve your master. You caught a little bag for your masters, didn't you? Lifetime deal. I feel bad." Kanye said this because he isn't with the label anymore, but Drake is still working under UMG, whose CEO is Lucian Grange, which directly claps back at what Drake said about Kendrick dropping for Top. So it's crazy to see yet another person who doesn't like Drake jumping in on the beef. So now I think everyone is just waiting for Pusha T to jump back in. J. Cole also caught a stray on this song, which was tough, and he also posted this meme about J. Cole, so I feel pretty bad for him now. Now we are going to get into some people who are thought to have beef with Drake, although I personally don't think these are very likely, starting with J. Cole. So if you're somehow unaware still, Drake and J. Cole are pretty tight as of late. They just recently collabed on First Person Shooter and got off tour like a week ago, which makes it very unlikely that they're beefing. However, J. Cole did surprisingly feature on Metro and Future's We Still Don't Trust You on the song Red Leather, which made a lot of people think that J. Cole switched sides. But his verse had nothing to do with the beef, and neither did the song. Many people do think that Drake is the type to get in his feelings about this, but I highly doubt that Drake is upset, as they were literally on tour together as the song dropped. Another person people think has beef with Drake is Travis Scott, in part because he also featured on We Don't Trust You. And despite his verse lacking any disses to Drake, some people saw this video of Drake fake shooting a Travis Scott head at his show and thought it meant he had problems with him. In reality though, he was performing one of the songs he has with Travis Scott, and has been doing this for the entire tour. Also in Drake's diss, he literally shouted out Travis. So again, it's not very likely that they have beef, but it is possible that he may have some type of animosity towards Nav. After Like That dropped and Rick Ross unfollowed Drake, so did Nav. Shortly after that, Drake posted a picture on Instagram with the caption, "I'm picking up, I'm in Turk's Lil Baby," which is a quote from Nav's song Turks. There hasn't been anything that happened since then though, so we can't be sure if there's actually any beef. Nav didn't even hop on We Still Don't Trust You, so we really have no idea what's going on. Regardless, it's clear that Drake has upset a lot of people in the industry, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
I ain't gonna front. I'm interested too. Like, yeah, we in some hot times, bro. This is why everybody hates Drake. Like, just the notion of beefing with all these hot I was gonna say hot hip hop artists, but Rick Ross ain't really in the conversation right now. But it's like, I think it's very interesting that everybody decides to gang up on one individual, especially Kanye, bro. Like Kanye, I rock with early stage Kanye, the college dropout Kanye. You know what I mean? Even a couple of his masterpieces afterwards, but Kanye, just stay out this one, bro. Like I haven't really been a fan of your last couple of projects. But y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this beef. I think it's some interesting times we living in, man. What a time to be alive. But this covered everybody else, and it was just as captivating as Drake's beef with Kendrick. He barely even spoke about Kendrick. Ah, damn. Sign me up for this.